In this video, we will be tasting and talking about batch 127 of the Eco Cha Tea Club, a Lalashan High Mountain Oolong tea from Taiwan. Batch 127 of the Eco Cha Tea Club is a Lalashan High Mountain Oolong tea from Taiwan, spring 2026 harvest. Lalashan is a mountainous region in Fuxing Township, Taoyuan County, in northern Taiwan, and it is the northernmost tea growing region, or I should say the northernmost high elevation tea growing region. High mountain tea is generally classified as tea being grown at over 1,000 meters. Although there is some contention, the original meaning of high mountain tea was anything that was higher than lugu when high mountain tea began to be a thing, began to be developed in the 1980s. Lugu, the general elevation is 700 or 800 meters. So anything above 800 meters for the old school people, and especially the Lugu crowd, say that anything over 800 meters can be called high mountain tea because it's it's like the development that happened after the initial establishment of the modern tea industry. Okay, there's a little tidbit background for high mountain tea. This grower lives in our town, Bamboo Mountain, just at the foot of Lugu, foot of the mountain below Lugu. And he has been managing a farm that his father developed about over 20 years ago, I guess now. His grandfather began growing tea in Shizuo, which is the, I think you could say, well, one of the original, let's say that. There is the earliest township in the Alishan region is Longyan, Twin Dragon Eye Village. That's at a lower elevation. Shizuo is up at the highest elevation, among the highest elevation tea areas, neighborhoods in the overall greater Alishan tea growing region. In Alishan Township, his family did quite well with that, and then his father decided to lease land way north. It's over a 5-hour drive from where we live, and the farmer lives here. He lives only a kilometer away from me. We like him and his wife. We think they're solid and honest people, and they're doing a good job. He, I believe, did 9 days of harvest. We got to taste 5 days at his house after he came down off the mountain from the factory after he completed his spring harvest. The big tea dealers show up, even though it's far for anybody pretty much. I guess there are merchants up in Taoyuan, which would be much closer to get to, and buy whole days of harvest. We're not there. We haven't been up to their farm yet, although we'd like to. It's the only region that we have not visited, a high mountain region that we haven't visited in Taiwan. So one of these days, we'll get up there. We chose this one out of 5 days that we tasted. There were a few that we liked. This one we could say was the most balanced in terms of its overall constitution and composition. I did 10 grams of tea leaves in this 150 milliliter pot. I started at 1 minute 5 seconds, brought it down to 55 seconds, 1 minute 5, 55, 1 minute 10 seconds, 1 minute 20 seconds, 1 minute 30 seconds, and pretty much the same on the 6th brew. So keeping it under 2 minutes overall. I wanted to get it started, open up these higher elevation leaves sufficiently, so I went a little bit further on the first brew. Let's quickly have a sip. The aroma wafting from the leaves as they brew has this really subtle, sweet, but kind of noticeably citrus quality to it. It's quite interesting. I think oranges, but it's combined with this pastry buttery note as well. So I've concluded that it conjures hints of orange pound cake. I know that's far-fetched when you're drinking an unroasted high mountain oolong tea, but it's all fair in what our brain does when we sip something like this very aromatically packed substance. It's definitely a nice combination or conglomeration of pastry, buttery, and fresh green, and some fruity notes in there as well. I'm going to keep going here. The mouthfeel is definitely representative of a higher elevation tea. This farm is at 1,400 meters, but it is in the northernmost region. So we are kind of drawing conclusions, but we feel that given well, it is definitely cooler and wetter up there in Fuxing Township where this tea grows. That's a year-round statistically proven thing. And this year, as in seemingly most of the springs in recent years, the last time we shared this type of tea was a spring batch from 2024. I believe 2024 was even drier in the early spring than this year. But the north gets rain when we don't down here in central and southern Taiwan. So that was one of our motivations to give our friend Mr. He a call early on and say we're interested in purchasing spring tea again. We only share Lalashan tea with the tea club. It's just, we're not ready to add another tea growing region to our high mountain Oolong menu. We represent the three main and most famous ones, starting from the south, Alishan, and then Shan Lin Xi, and then Li Shan. Those are the big names. And while this tea stands up in quality and character, we're going to keep it as more of an exclusive item in terms of presenting and representing tea from Taiwan. Yeah, holding out in terms of the smooth, substantial mouthfeel. It's, okay, on a relative scale, it's greener than the ones that we share in our store, Alishan. Well, maybe similar to Alishan this year. Okay, I'm not going to compare out of memory. That's not quite, I'm just going to be like drawing conclusions without really doing a taste test. It's on the lighter oxidation side. There we go. I'm happy with that phraseology. It's on the lighter oxidation side of the high mountain oolongs that we typically go for. And this mild, subtle, fruity note in there does represent a significant, sufficient oxidation level. Changed a little bit going on the fifth brew. Yeah, I would say, while there was, it's for me, I'm not, I just go with what my brain does when I smell and taste tea. I got some floral hints and fruity hints at the same time. It's hard for me to discern sometimes which one it is. When I get more of a perfume hit, then I choose floral as the adjective or the prominent note. And when it's a little bit sweeter and milder, then I'll choose fruity. But it's really like pretty close on the spectrum in my mind. Maybe it's orange blossoms on the aromatic notes when the tea is brewing, kind of melding into an orange zest with buttery qualities when you're tasting it. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because it's yummy. This creamy fruity combo is what I really was like, okay, I want to get this tea and I want to share it. It seems to be creamier and more pastry-like in the first couple brews, 1, 2, and then kind of becomes more refined as we go. Yeah, I'm actually liking these middle brews the most. I get this it's a little more evenly distributed in its flavor qualities. Fading slightly on the fifth. This one's still warm. Totally satisfying still. A little bit less of the orange zest by the time you get to the sixth, but as soon as I say it, I'm like, no, it's there. My brain's playing tricks with me. Okay, here's the combo brew. I used a small pot with large cups. These are the cups that we've collected from the Nanto Global Tea Expo that we visit pretty much annually. Our big brother and tea mentor, Tony Lin, used to be the producer before he retired over 5 years ago. Taiwan's largest tea expo by far. And these cups, when you purchase a ticket for like less than $5 US, you get a free cup and you get to taste 10 top award-winning teas from all over Taiwan. It's my favorite event by far, given my specific nerdy orientation at the Tea Expo each year. These are a part of our collection of the cups that we've acquired over the years. God, that mouthfeel is yum. If there is, okay, chills going, goosebumps going. If there is one thing that represents higher elevation tea, which I'm putting this in its sort of unique category because it's so much further north, even, it's far north of Li Shan. And the thing about Li Shan, in addition to the elevation, is the climate that they say is directly related to Dongbei Jifeng, this northeasterlies. The winds that create a climate pattern. And one of the most basic things is the diurnal temperature variation, the variation of, warmer in the day, cooler at night. That's what creates these compounds in the tea leaves that we can notice in the brewed tea. And I think Lalashan, and this is why I am intrigued mostly, or the most obvious reason, by this region is because I think even though it doesn't go that high up in elevation, it shares some of that climate that the Li Shan area does. Fresh, it doesn't taste green, but I'm putting green in there for the light oxidation, relatively light oxidation. Slightly sweet, fruity, pastry notes, buttery, yum. Lalashan, High Mountain Oolong Tea, Spring 2026. Oh, I should give a quick overview of the leaves. The dried leaves are really nice. It's as uniform as you can get, pretty much. No significant stem material, nicely rolled. A properly made high mountain tea. And the brewed leaves, again, you can see the thickness in the leaves that represents the colder climate. We won't say the elevation as much. And hardy, and mature, but not overly mature. I think it was a good time to pick the leaves in general. And you can see some oxidation, evidence of oxidation on the perimeter of the leaves. But overall, very uniform in the coloration, no yellowing, aged, overly mature leaves. We're pretty stoked with this batch of tea. Okay, once again, Lalashan High Mountain Oolong Tea, Spring 2026 from northern Taiwan. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.